Hi everyone. So yesterday was actually my last clinic day doing Bowen therapy after more than 30 years working as a therapist. And honestly, that feels really strange to say out loud. And over the last few days, I've been reflecting a lot about endings, new chapters, business, burnout, clarity, and how easy it is for therapists to lose themselves in trying to do absolutely everything. Because one of the biggest things I've learned over all these years is that most therapists do not need another course, they need clarity. And I think that's why so many good therapists get stuck. I speak to a lot of therapists now through my coaching work, and honestly, they care really deeply about what they do. They work extremely hard, they spend lots of money on CPD and training courses, and they genuinely came into this big business because they want to help people. But somewhere along the line, things became very complicated. You end up possibly offering lots of different therapies to attract different people and to build your business. You end up trying to post on every platform and spend so much time doing admin when you really want to be doing the therapies. You end up tweaking your website, tweaking your Facebook page, changing your branding, changing your colours, starting things and stopping things, sort of like a butterfly flitting here and there. And underneath it all, there's quite often a feeling of I should be doing better than I am, and a quiet feeling of panic because your business isn't where you want it to be. And I completely understand that, because I did exactly the same thing to myself over the years. At different times in my therapy career, I've offered, as well as Bowen Technique, Indian head massage, back massage, aromatherapy massage, full body massage, EFT, Reiki, you name it. I can't think of the amount, acupressure, and more besides. And I think a lot of therapists do this because we genuinely love learning. If you're anything like me, you just love a new course, and we genuinely want to help as many people in as many ways as we possibly can. But eventually I realised something very important. When you try to offer absolutely everything, it becomes harder for people to understand what you do and who you help. It can leave you feeling very scattered. What changed things for me was simplifying, not because the other therapies aren't valuable, and it doesn't mean you won't do them again, but because clarity matters when you're trying to get your message across to people who need you. And I think another important thing I've learned is that it's okay to evolve. It really is. It's okay for your business to change over time. It's okay for you to change your mind. It's okay to simplify. It's okay to specialise. In fact, it's better if you do specialise. It's okay to let go of things that don't bring you joy and don't fit who you are and how you want to work. Sometimes therapists feel guilty about that because their client may want to book whatever it is they do, but they really hate doing the thing. It's like somehow that you feel like you're abandoning yourself if you stop offering a therapy or change direction. But honestly, I don't think growth works like that. I think that growth happens when you're doing what brings you joy, and that the light shines out of you, and then things flow, you get into the flow. We evolve as people, we evolve through experience, and as our businesses evolve, we evolve too, and the other way around. I meant to say, as we evolve, our businesses evolve too, but it works both ways. So what suited you 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it might not be what suits you now, and that's okay. I talk quite a lot about something I call productive faffing, and therapists are brilliant at it, and I certainly am guilty of it. I have to reel myself in. We do things that feel productive, like redesigning our flyers, changing Canva graphics, researching ideas, blah blah. I've said it before, taking another course, changing niche. None of those things are bad. They're all, stuff that's useful. But often we're doing it because it feels safer. We're kind of faffing around the edges rather than doing things that actually build a business. Things like being visible like I am now and speaking about what you do, consistently showing up and having a simple message and making offers, letting people see the real you, because that's what they want to see. And you know what? That's the uncomfortable bit, and you know that's true. So I just want to speak to you about what my therapy chapter, can you call it a chapter? It was over 30 years. I'm not sure if that's a chapter, but never mind. This is what my therapy career taught me. And I think closing my Bowen therapy business, which I did yesterday, has made me reflect on something else too. So over the years, I've seen so many therapists put enormous pressure on themselves to do absolutely everything. Offer more, learn more, post more, train more, be everywhere. And eventually they can end up being overwhelmed and exhausted. And instead of building a business that feels enjoyable and sustainable, quite often they give up and go back to finding a full-time job for someone else. But what I've learned by failing myself and finding out what works is that successful therapy business are very rarely built by doing all the things. And believe me, I've tried to do all the things. They're usually built through clarity, consistency, connection, and focusing on the things that genuinely matter, not constantly adding more noise. And I think therapists sometimes underestimate how powerful simplicity can be. When people who look at your website or look for you clearly understand who you help, what you help with, and why they should trust you, everything seems to fall into place. So after more than 30 years working in the holistic world, I think that therapists need less overwhelm, not more. It's a very loud world out there. We've got all these social media channels, you know, there's blogs, there's your website, there's so many things. We can't do it all. And it seems like we're more and more invisible, like we're just shouting into a chasm where nobody can hear us. We don't need more pressure. We don't need things to be more complicated. We don't need more strategies. We don't need to compare ourselves to anyone else. We just need to get back to simplicity, and that's what I talk about a lot. Clarity, focus, consistency, confidence and support. Because when everything feels important, you just don't know where to start. You feel scattered, you just don't know what to do. You can sit in front of your computer, you've got no idea where to start. I think you know what I mean. Sometimes what you really need is someone outside of your business helping you untangle things a little bit. Someone to help you work out what's working, what drains your energy, what to focus on, and what you can stop worrying about. So if you feel like your therapy business feels a bit messy right now, if you feel overwhelmed and if you've lost confidence a bit and you don't know what to do next, please know you are not alone. Most therapists I speak to are trying to carry far too much, but clarity changes everything. When you know who you help, what you offer, what matters most, and what to focus on and what not to focus on, your business will start to feel calmer and more manageable. So, going back to yesterday was the end of one big chapter, one big over 30-year chapter for me, but it feels like the start of a new one, because after working more than 30 years as a therapist, I feel really passionate now about helping other therapists build businesses that feel clearer, calmer and more sustainable. I've lived the ups and downs of this industry. I know what it feels like to offer too many therapies, to overcomplicate stuff, to lose focus, to doubt what you do and feel like you just forget why you got into the business because there's so much stuff to do, and you may be wondering why the business feels harder than it should. And I know how powerful clarity and simplicity can be. This chapter feels very aligned for me. So yes, It was sad walking away from my Bowen clients. I found a lovely Bowen therapist in a village just up the road who can help them. And it's time for me to be helping other people and using everything I've learned over the past 30 years in my business to support other therapists, new therapists, in a different way. And I think that's really exciting. I'm really excited to be doing this. Now, if any of this resonated with you, I'd genuinely love to hear from you in the comments or email me. If you're a therapist feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure what to focus on in your business, I offer a free 30-minute chat through the Holistic Growth Coach website. No pressure, no hard sell, just a calm, practical conversation to help you work out your next steps to build your business. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.